Welcome back to Creating Resilience video series. This is the video number 17, and I am Cheryl Stepp. We are continuing our journey with emotional identification today. And we last time talked about how to name feelings and to notice their intensity. In this session, we're going to talk about connecting feelings and emotions to our internal and our external states. Again, you're going to see how this very much ties in with other things we've talked about previously. And in this section, what we're really looking at is increasing our own identification skills, but also helping other people increase theirs. So it's really important to connect our feelings to our internal states because we do feel different things and our body can actually create emotions, our body sensations. So, for example, if you've ever been anywhere and you had on, let's say, a pair of pants and they're too tight and they are squeezing you in the waist, and you start to get in a situation where it's a little bit tense, that tightness around your waist and that uncomfortable feeling can actually increase some emotions inside of you, negative emotions inside of you. Our thoughts, what we're thinking in our head. Self-talk to me was one of the most important things to keep track of my emotions and to notice what they were doing to my emotions when COVID first happened. I will be quite honest. My husband and I are very happily married, but he traveled most of the time and I was home, working from home most of the time before COVID. So when suddenly he was home, it was a different routine for me. And at first, I had some negative self-talk, things like, I hope this is over soon. I wonder when I'm going to get back to normal and he's going to start traveling again. But I noticed that those negative thoughts about the situation were making me feel negatively. So rather quickly, I switched those thoughts around to I'm glad he's home for a while now. We're getting more time to connect. We're walking together every day, and it feels really good to have somebody here with me throughout the day. And just that self-talk shifted what I was feeling. Definitely our behaviors, if we aren't sleeping well, if we aren't eating well, if we aren't taking time to let our bodies move when they need to move, that can shift our emotions. And then there's the other factors that we talked about when we were discussing caregiver reflection and regulation. Just the hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. That all of those things are really important, that we want to make sure that we have what we need to help our emotions be more positive as well. Then we want to connect our feelings to external states, things in the environment that might influence how we're feeling. Sometimes those are our buttons and triggers that we talked about earlier in caregiver reflection and regulation. Sometimes it's the amount of light in the room, or the heat or the cold in the room, or the clothes that we're wearing that might be too tight or too loose or uncomfortable or itchy. So all those sort of external states can shift and change our emotions as well. That's important not just for us to know, but for us to help other people know. So if you've ever had a child that's whining and complaining that they can feel the tag in their shirt and you're thinking, oh, they're just being so picky, that external state is really shifting their emotions at that point. If you can change the external state by just clipping that tag out, then do it because that might shift their emotions quite a bit. It's very interesting how it all ties together. I'm going to teach you about the incredible 5-point scale. This is something you can order on the internet. You can investigate it on the internet. They give you a lot of directions also. So just remember incredible 5-point scale. I don't get any money from this. I just love this scale. I used to use it in the school system when I worked with all sorts of different children, and I've actually used it to help myself. The idea with the incredible 5-point scale is you take an emotion and you really dive into it. So let's take angry because number 4 says I'm getting angry. So what the incredible 5-point scale does is you look at different levels of intensity of the emotion, like we talked about last time, but you really start to look at that at each stage. So what does it look like and sound like at each stage? What does it look like and sound like when you are just about ready to explode because you're so angry? But what does it look like and sound like maybe when you're at number 3, when you're starting to get a little nervous or a little upset? And what does it look like and sound like when you're really very calm and very relaxed? Going through all 5 steps, we just went through 3, and really investigating what does each one sound like and look like for you. The next part is what we just were talking about, those internal states. So what does it feel like on the inside? When you're calm and relaxed, what does it feel like on the inside? I don't know about you, but I feel like I have a slower heartbeat. I feel my muscles are kind of relaxed. My mind, I don't know, kind of like a smooth pond. It's just kind of there. But if I'm getting angry, I'm at a 4 or a 5, I feel hot on the inside. I feel tension on the inside. I feel like maybe there's flames going on in there. So being able to really investigate one emotion on all these different levels. And the last part is goes back to our regulation. What helps me move down this scale? If I'm at a number 4, I'm really starting to get angry and I can feel that tense, but I don't want to be there. How do I get down to a 2 where I'm feeling okay? For me, it's movement. I've got to go move. I might need to scream somewhere or I'm not going to offend anybody else, but I definitely need to move, and I usually need to move in pretty big motions. But again, taking time and really investigating one emotion at a time. So this one's angry. You could do it for sadness. You could do it for excitement. What does it sound like and look like at each level? What does it feel like inside at each level? And what helps you move down at each level? If you can do this for yourself, you can probably help somebody else, including a child, do it. It's really very, very helpful. And then it's a great language if you do it within your family, because you might be able to say to somebody, I'm getting angry and I'm at a 3 right now, and I'm going to go do this so I don't go up to a 4 or a 5. It's just great common language to use. We want to make sure we can name our feelings and notice the intensity and then connect them to internal and external states. And last, we can begin to recognize what other people might be feeling. The clues that other people give us, their facial expressions, their body movements. If you think about it, if someone's all hunched over and down, a lot of times that's a negative emotion. That's something like anger or worry or sadness or fear. But if their body movement is open and wide, it's usually a more positive emotion. Definitely the tone of voice. I try to keep my tone of voice inviting and exciting. But if I taught all these videos and I talk to you in a very quiet tone, it'd be hard because my emotion would drag your emotion down. So I try to have a very energetic emotion and tone of voice. But you can listen to tones of voices and it completely shifts the emotion with the words that are being used. So, for example, I can say to somebody, Hey, what are you doing? And I sound very curious, and the emotion is curiosity. Or I can say, Hey, what are you doing? And it's very judgmental. It might even sound angry. So our words and our tone of voice can very much tell somebody what our emotions are, as well as our face and our body. So those are clues that other people give us. So we might need to work on that ourselves and really trying to read the room and read other people's emotions. But this is a great way to teach your children how to read other people's emotions, or maybe a friend. The reflection this time is the next time you do feel an intense emotion, try to recognize what you're thinking at that moment and what is your body doing at that moment. Just pause and recognize that. And then the other thing I would really love for you to do as an action step is to pick an emotion and actually work through the incredible 5-point scale exercise so you can become more familiar with that emotion and how to decrease the intensity of that emotion. It's just a great way to reflect and think about how you can regulate. I hope you see how all of these things are really tying together to help you, help yourself, and help others understand emotions and regulation so that you can move forward and thrive in your life. Thank you so much again for being part of this video series. I appreciate you.